Hey guys, so I'm sure plenty of you are wondering, I get comments on my YouTube videos and stuff. I know a lot of people are curious about how Marksman is going to fare after Double Tap was deleted. So, if you've ever tuned in my stream, I don't stream that often these days because I work and stuff, but I have given my thoughts quite a bit on there. I even made a thread on the forums a while back. I will say this much to you guys right now. I never liked Double Tap. I'm glad it's gone, and I think it will open the door for improvements to the spec as a whole at a baseline level, and I don't think Blizzard is completely done yet. I think the holidays, you know, whatever reason, a lot of people think it was PvP why they deleted Double Tap, but I guarantee that's not why they deleted Double Tap. It was definitely because of PvE or something about the fundamental design they do not like with Marksman. I know a lot of PvEers didn't like that it was just this prep damage global that you had to use because it was on the global cooldown, and if they took it off the global cooldown, then it would be too good in PvP for sure. So I think they decided to just delete it and go in a different direction in the near future, hopefully. There's no way it was a PvP design change though. If they deleted it for PvP, it makes no sense, because why would they shift the position in the talent trees at the same time? And if they wanted to nerf it in PvP, they would just do what they did to Double Tap with aim shot, which makes the next aim shot 50% weaker. They could have just made rapid fire 50% weaker with Double Tap if they wanted to nerf it in PvP. So this is 100% a fundamental change, and more likely a PvE-centric change. So now that we got that out of the way, I'm glad Double Tap is gone. I never liked it, and I think that they'll probably make better changes in the near future. The holidays, of course, you know, just ended at the beginning of the month. You know, there was Christmas and New Year's and everything, and they took a lot of vacation time, and they've been, you know, hot fixing and doing a ton of stuff lately, so it's not like they're not working. It's just, I think they are putting it at a lower priority compared to all these other things, but I do have an inkling that they still have improvements left in store. Also, they're probably waiting to see where Marksman falls in PvE content now that Double Tap is gone, because the way Double Tap worked in PvE is mainly not like single target boss fights, but mainly when there's AoE, like trash pulls or mythic pluses where AoE is huge. It's pretty hard to gauge, I guess, where Marksman should lie when it comes to those AoE scenarios, because what would happen is you pop a volley and or trick shot followed by a Double Tap rapid fire and just spike in DPS immensely. You would spike so hard in DPS, and maybe they didn't like that one cooldown changed their numbers so drastically in a short window. You know, now it's a little bit more normalized and they can see what kind of consistent damage Marksman's doing. That being said, they're going to collect data for PvE almost certainly, and I'm pretty sure Marksman's going to be going down in PvE with Double Tap being removed, because the replacement talent is obviously not going to increase their DPS by a significant amount. For those of you who, you know, might have not been keeping up this week at least, this new talent Tactical Reload, not very good, not very impactful. So I'm expecting that Marksman's going to be doing worse in PvE, which means they'll probably buff us for PvE reasons, which might roll over into PvP as well. So I'm still clinging on to some hope. I don't think Marksman Hunters are terribly weak. Everybody thinks that they're unplayable and F tier, you know. I don't think that's the case. I think they're worse off in threes than they are in shuffle, just because the chaotic nature of shuffle. A lot more things work in shuffle because of that. When it comes to coordinated threes, it can be a little bit trickier because people know the strengths and weaknesses of Marksman, just training them and CCing and disarming them and stopping you from casting aim shots and stuff. So I think it'll be weaker a little bit in 3v3, but not by a ton. I think people really overestimate how good Double Tap is. Most people are pretty good at reacting to it. The first one is almost always countered, you know? By any team with half a brain, the first one's almost always countered at decently high rating. And then sometimes the follow-up ones, people aren't tracking the cooldown and they get a little caught off guard, and it can be game-winning sometimes. But I really think it's been oversold a little bit. So I was doing some shuffle the other day in this patch with a new build, and I felt really strong. I had some, you know, 5-1, a few 5-1 matches and 4-2 matches and stuff. I haven't done that many shuffle games on this hunter. In total, I've only done 90 rounds. My MMR is a lot higher than my CR currently, I was fighting around 2900 MMR. I just haven't queued enough yet to get that CR caught up. And I mean, maybe I'll go on a lose streak and it'll be terrible. I don't know. But it felt pretty good, the games I was playing the other day. So I'll even show some of these clips so you can see it in action, what I mean. But it didn't feel terrible. Now, when, you know, people usually open on Marksman Hunter out of stealth with a double tap rapid fire, right? But here's the thing. You can still do good damage out of stealth without double tap. Because normally when you double tap rapid fire, you're not benefiting from careful aim because you're not starting with an aim shot. But you can easily come out of stealth and just do this instead. Do an aim shot into a rapid fire, and it's still pretty freaking good damage, especially if that aim shot crits, because of careful aim buffing the damage by, it's 35% in PvP, but when you come out of stealth and you aim shot rapid fire, it's still pretty good damage, especially if that aim shot crits. So it's really not that different. It really isn't in terms of the opener. The only time it really matters is later when you would do your second double tap typically. And double tap doesn't just global people. A lot of people think that double tap is some crazy damage cooldown. Like, sure, if you get really good RNG and you crit like 80% of those shots, it'll do a lot of damage, especially on a softer target. And then what people don't realize is a lot of the time that burst is amplified dramatically by getting a kill shot proc on the rapid fire. So when you do a double tap and then you shoot the rapid fire and then you get a death blow proc to kill shot with bonus damage, at the end of the double tap rapid fire you hit him with a 100k crit kill shot, and that's why it felt so bursty based on that 25% chance, which is a pretty high number. So I really think it's not going to change it as dramatically as people think. It doesn't feel like it has for me so far. I was doing shuffles and I felt like I was pumping good damage. And the only lobby that I did shuffle in the other day where I went 3 and 3, all the rest were like 4 and 2 or 5 and 1. They were, that one had a rogue, windwalker, and a warrior, which is miserable because I think disarms are the bane of our existence. Disarms are like the worst thing ever because there's already so many like stuns and fears and other CCs, people teleporting in line of sighting you when you're trying to cast aim shots. So the fact that disarms exist just add that, like, that's that one factor where it's just too much CC. I can deal with getting kidney shotted and warrior feared or storm bolted or whatever, but it's really just that disarm being on a 45-second cooldown, lasting 6 seconds. It's not affected by the minus 15%, you know, PvP trinket bonus or anything like that. So I think disarms ruin Marksman more than anything, and I actually think those are going to be nerfed soon. So that'll help a lot. But that being said, I'll show you some clips and you can see what I mean by I don't feel like dramatically weaker. I feel like I'm pumping, and here's the new build, by the way. This is the new build I'm using. I ditched Salvo. Don't get me wrong, sometimes Salvo really does pump if there's like 2 melee classes and they're stacked up pretty much the whole time. The reason I opted out of it is because there's so many pets. You know, you got BM Hunters, Unholy DKs, even Enhanced Shamans, which you don't see that often, but even they got their stupid little wolves that will absorb the explosive shot debuff and then run away from the targets that you want to actually hit. And Salvo has just become so unreliable to me, you know? If you hit 2-player targets and they stay stacked up, or even if you hit pets but the players stay stacked up on the pets and they get hit with 2 explosives at once and they crit, it's a lot of burst, right? But it's just gotten frustrating with how unreliable it is. You fight a Demo lock and you throw a volley down and his stupid demon eats it and then dashes away somewhere and attacks you, and then it hits nothing. So I'm opting for a more single target focused build. So I pretty much took the points out of volley and I put them into Hunter's Knowledge. I hate having to waste a point in Lone Wolf, but I do like having high base crit. Especially, I have the 2 set, I don't have the 4 set, but the 2 set isn't crazy good or anything. It'll probably be better when you have the 4 set and you're activating it more often, but this just increases my odds of critting an aim shot or rapid fire, and when you have the 2 set proc and you crit an aim shot, that 40% extra damage in a bleed can be significant if you're critting, especially if they're above 70% health and you benefit from careful aim. So I really like this build. It feels like I'm critting more, which is nice. I stack haste, so it's always nice to get extra crit. Right now, with the current gear that I have 25% crit, 19% haste, although it's 26 and 18%, I think, during a different time of day. I could be wrong. I'm a night elf. So during the day I have an extra % of crit, and during the night I have an extra % of haste. This isn't going to be my final stats though, because next week I'll get the 4 set by getting the chest piece. which is going to lower my crit and increase my haste quite a bit. So I'll probably have like 23% haste and 23% crit or something, which is pretty freaking good stat balance, you know? And then you add that extra 10% from Hunter's Knowledge, and of course Kill Shot has 20% more. I'm critting quite a bit. And Master Marksman gains a lot more value. The Master Marksman historically has made up a very marginal amount of your DPS, but with this much crit, I'm finding that Master Marksman ends up being 5 to 8% of my damage. I can even look at past games. But either way, that's still not bad because it's free, right? But on top of that, we have, I'm playing with, you know, the Auto Serpent Sting. Okay, maybe it's, consistently it's more close to 4%. But, that being said, when you have multiple dots like this that stack, there are some examples, I'll try to show if I can find the clips, where the dot pressure is pretty significant when you have a Master Marksman dot that's stacked up from chain critting, and then you have the Serpent Sting, and then of course your aim shots will do more damage with Latent Poison, which is nice. And on top of that, you have the Kill Shot procs, which also put a bleed on the target, and then if it crits, it'll put a Master Marksman bleed as well. And then you have the bleed from the 2 set, and you actually get reasonable dot pressure when these are rolling. It's not crazy, it's not like a Feral Druid, but it definitely feels significant when you got all those rolling and you're critting a lot. So I really like this build so far. It's pure single target focused, and it hits pretty freaking hard. High crit rate, decent dots, you know, to keep a little bit of pressure, counteract some hots and stuff. I like it a lot. So I'll show you a little bit of the clips here. Sorry, the in-game audio for these recordings is not going to play because I was listening to streams in the background. But anyway, the lobbies I did best in involved like Shadow Priests and Mages and stuff like that, so squishier targets for sure, but you're going to see it in action here. Now, I Intimidate immediately so he can't Mass Dispel, and I started with a Rapid Fire into a fast aim shot. Now, normally I would just aim shot into a Rapid Fire and then immediately CC the healer, but it was such a good opportunity. The Lock and Load proc made it to where I'd rather Rapid Fire first and then aim shot after with the Lock and Load proc, because, you know, aim shot has a chance to reset Rapid Fire and stuff like that. So that's not the opener I'm going to always do, but it just, you know, fit perfectly in that situation. And then of course with such a high base crit rate, and then when you have True Shot going with Unerring Vision, I mean, you can do so much freaking damage. As you can see here, I'm not really having that hard of a time doing damage to this mage, you know, and obviously mages are one of our best targets because they don't have like any passive mitigation, but I mean even Shadow Priests, which are a bit tankier, we still hit pretty freaking hard, you know. Just having a big crit rate and everything, I mean, it feels, honestly, it feels pretty good. I don't feel like my damage is pathetic or anything like that. I'm getting CC'd a lot here though, which is annoying, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes. But I feel like I'm able to just, you know, swap targets whenever I feel like it. It's nice that I'm not fighting disarm classes, you know. I will fight the warrior sometimes in this lobby, but I don't even think he was running disarm in this game, to be honest. I don't remember getting disarmed by him a single time. And I'm actually making use of consecutive concussion here a lot in a lot of these lobbies. If the games aren't super fast-paced, I feel like consecutive concussion is actually not bad. Just having a stun separate from your 1 minute intimidation stun feels pretty good. You force trinkets with it quite a bit, or you just, you know, make people vulnerable. It's a momentum shift. Whenever you get a consecutive concussion off, it's not like it's going to last a super long time, but I mean, it feels pretty good. I've forced a lot of trinkets, like a surprising amount of trinkets, just by using the triple steady shot. Now, it is quite an investment of cast time and globals to get the consecutive concussion off, because you have to use a global on the concussive shot itself, and then you have to, you know, steady shot 3 times, and that takes a while. And sometimes you get CC'd before you can refresh it. Sometimes they have a snare breaker and you have to start over. So I only really utilize it against certain comps where I know they don't have consistent like freedoms or ways to break snares and reset the whole event. But it can definitely come in handy if you don't need to immediately do anything else. So as you can see in this opener, I just trapped the priest out of stealth and immediately started cranking aim shots on the mage. He did have quite a bit of absorb, so it's not like it was crazy damage. I kind of wish I saved my true shot a little bit longer, you know, until they're a little bit more vulnerable later. But you still just pump quite a bit of damage with this build. Just single target, just big aim shots, constant rapid fires, kill shot procs. I really don't feel like not having double tap just ruins everything. Because honestly, double tap against high-rated good players of most classes made me feel like a CC magnet the second I pop it. Now here I did a consecutive concussion, and the reason I did that is because he had pain suppression, and when he's got pain suppression, it's not like I'm going to be able to do a ton of damage to him anyway, right? You can still do some damage through pain sub, but it's not like he's going to get globaled or you're going to just chunk him through pain sub. So I used that time to just, you know, steady shot him 3 times and stun him. And it was really nice. It interrupted one of his casts trying to cast on my teammate. I really feel like consecutive concussion definitely has a place. You're not using it all the time, but there are certain scenarios where when the current state of the fight isn't like somebody's about to die, either on your team or the enemy team, there are situations where I feel like it's very useful to just steady shot 3 times. Sometimes I'll steady shot twice, and then I'll scatter the healer, steady shot the kill target the 3rd time, stun them, and then trap the healer, and then, you know, meanwhile my teammate's pumping them while they're in a free stun. So especially when you have comps that don't have a lot of stuns in general, it is nice to utilize. But even without utilizing the steady shot 3 times stun stuff, just having a 70% snare is really handy in a lot of situations. I don't always take that talent. If I was playing Thug Cleave with a Rogue, for instance, I wouldn't bother taking it because they have so many stuns and they have 60% crippling poison up at all times. But when you're playing, like for example here with the Shadow Priest, they don't have any snares. So having and they only have 1 stun, and I only have, you know, 1 intimidation. So I feel like having extra stuns in a comp like this makes a lot of sense, and it feels really good. But yeah, you can just generally see how the gameplay is playing right now, right? I'm just cranking, you know? It feels pretty good, just constantly cranking. It really doesn't feel horrendous. I don't feel dramatically weaker without double tap. Sure, we are weaker without double tap, of course, right? Because that's just one more button that can increase your damage, especially if it's not stopped. So we are weaker, but I don't think it's as impactful as a lot of people think it is. And the silver lining is being able to play this build because with the new talent, which isn't very good, at least you don't have to, you know, take volley or waste a point in volley just to access true shot. So it allows me to make a slightly different build, which I like. Now, a handful of people have asked me if I do private coaching. I didn't really have a lot of time to do that with my job, but my job is very slow right now. So not only do I have extra time, but I could use an extra buck or two, you know. So I am going to start trying to do some one-on-one coaching. Now, I've never really done this before, except, you know, unless you count skill capped, right? But one-on-one coaching is something that I've almost never done. Because I'm going to be honest, I like making guides and helping people for free anyway. But if you want some personal one-on-one coaching, I will do that. I'll link my Discord. I just made a new Discord for this reason, partly because it'd be cool to have you guys, you know, be part of this community and just interact with each other, maybe find some teammates or whatever. But also, you're there in my Discord and you can just ask questions whenever you want, and I'll try my best to answer them when I can. But if you want to join the Discord and you are interested in coaching, just let me know and I'll gladly do it and help you improve your gameplay. The main thing with that, though, is I cannot play a rated arena with you because that is classified as boosting by Blizzard, and that is against the rules. So it would have to be coaching verbally. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is if you can either broadcast your gameplay or if you have a means of recording your gameplay, and you can either upload it or you could just share screen and show me the gameplay, and I can analyze it for you and help you out, try to guide you to making better decisions and improving your game. If it's something you're interested in, join my Discord and let me know. If not, it's totally cool. I'll still try to put out guides here and there when I can. It's just work and everything. It gets kind of hectic. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the Hunter changes so far. We'll see how it pans out. I haven't done any more actual 3v3 yet since the patch because my Rhett Paladin buddy hasn't been around. He's also not too happy about those fat nerfs Rhett got. But yeah, we'll hopefully get some games in and see how it feels in regular 3v3 as well. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.